So Disney just released the brand new live action Mulan on Disney Plus for an extra fee. Is it worth paying the fee? Is it worth watching? Or are you better off waiting till December? Or just skipping it? Where does it fit? Well, we're going to talk about it. So I have to be honest, this Mulan was probably, outside of maybe Beauty and the Beast, it was personally my most anticipated live action remake movie that Disney was doing. I was really looking forward to this. My daughter was right alongside with me in that. We were excited about this one. It was going to be different, not going to be a musical. They were going to do some changes. It was going to be the most original of them. I'm like, okay, this is cool. If you're going to redo something, let's do it original. I enjoy Beauty and the Beast, but most of the remakes to me are just pandering copies to make money, and this is something that could be different. It's going to be the most epic movie that they're going to do, and so I was excited about this. This is going to be really awesome. I actually was really pleased that it wasn't going to be a musical. I love musicals. If you know me, my family teases me I'm Baloo. I love musicals. I love Mushu, but I was excited that there wasn't going to be a cute little animal companion comedy element in this as a crutch. Rely on the story and the characters. Let's see the Chinese culture. Give me legendary ancient China, and I'm excited about this. And when it came to the landscapes, the scenery, the costumes, yes, it definitely gives that feel. They've got scenes in here that you can tell were shot for the big screen to immerse you in the landscape. It was actually shot, a lot of it on location in China, parts of it in New Zealand as well. But for me, that was wonderful. It's a beautiful movie to look at. I like martial arts movies. It's been a while since I've watched them, but I enjoy watching a lot of those things, and they've got a definite feel and an epicness to them. So I was looking forward to that too. Disney's take on kung fu. This could be fun. So there was a lot I really did like on that. I enjoyed some of the fight scenes that they brought into it, but there were also a lot of things I struggled with. The story, for example. Okay, we all know the basic story of Mulan. If you don't know the story, it's Chinese women. Chinese women aren't supposed to have any power. The Chinese emperor calls forth an army, and Mulan's father can't go, and so she takes his place. And it's the story of what happens there. And I don't want to give any spoilers. I'm trying to keep spoiler free. So if for some weird reason you haven't seen the cartoon, I'm not going to tell you what happens. But it doesn't deviate very much from the cartoon either. The basic story sticks pretty close, which actually for me was almost a disappointment. I wanted to see them do something different. I wanted to see them try some new things, some different things, and while there are changes, there's nothing major or dramatic. I think a lot of us felt that way. My daughter and I watched it the first day, and then 2 days later my son and his girlfriend joined us and we watched it again, and there wasn't anything different that we could say, hey, that was cool, I liked how they did that. And there wasn't any moment that grabbed us that way. A few changes in sets and things, in locations, but nothing that affected much. They really kept the changes as a whole safe. So it felt much more like a remake than I wanted it to feel, really. And I guess that was a little bit of a disappointment for me. It wasn't the cartoon, but it wasn't unique and original either. It just kind of was. And the characters even. This actually was probably one of my disappointments, biggest disappointments, is that the characters in general were flat. There was nothing to them. Cardboard dolls. And again, I've seen a number of Asian movies. I understand Asian emotions, especially in the Chinese culture. I understand the way they act is different. They're much more reserved, much less emotional. But this wasn't even that. There was just nothing. And that's true of every character across the board. There was nothing motivating any one of them. There's no depth. There's nothing for them to react to. You really don't have a clue what any of them want, what their motivations are, what their desires are, what they're trying to accomplish, what they care or don't care about. There's just nothing. When there are a couple spots that are supposed to be emotional and teary, you're kind of like, oh, good, they're crying. Okay, eh. Which I'm one of these that cries over anything and everything. My family laughs, and I I didn't care. The one exception about that is Mulan's father. He's the one character that I did feel for who managed in his lines to really convey some emotion. And I identified with him. Okay, I can understand, but there were also still times that it was kind of going, eh. And especially with the main character. Why does Mulan do what she does? Why does she care? Who's she doing it for? What's she hoping to accomplish with this? Honestly, I learned more from the cartoon in 5 to 10 minutes than I did in 2 hours of this. And the side characters have nothing. They're just there. They're all generic cardboard copies, caricatures. There's nothing unique or identifiable about any of them. Honestly, if you ask me to identify a personality trait of anybody in the movie, I can't tell you. Who's funny, who's serious, who wants to do further things, who wants to protect the country, who wants to protect their family, who wants to find a wife. Yeah, bleh. There's just nothing. Absolutely nothing. Which makes you don't care about anything. If you don't care about the characters, why do you care about the rest of the movie? There's nothing to make me care. Nothing. And that's true of the protagonists and the antagonists. There's some parts that are very realistic and other parts that are very not. Some fantastically so. There's a couple of spots that were so nonsensical that we laughed. And they're not spots that are meant to make you laugh. It was just this obvious, wait a minute, what? For example, and again, try not to give spoilers, but I want to know how Mulan's horse was able to do what it does at one point when nobody else around it could possibly do what it's doing, and you're just going, dude, this is like Super Horse or something. It's definitely a, hey, wait a minute, that doesn't kind of moment. So much of the movie is like that too, in that they can't really commit to anything fully in anything. And because of that, the movie really struggles to even figure out what it is. And when the movie can't figure out what it is, then you're not going to be able to. I mean, is it martial arts? Well, yes, it's spots, but other times no. And there's times that they're doing them seriously, and other times they're doing fantastically, and other times that you're not really sure what they're doing. I don't know. Is it realistic fighting? Yes and no, and that part there definitely isn't. But I could see that if you're trying to do kung fu. Then you get this other big scene, and the way they do this thing is like, okay, I've messed with those things. That can't possibly happen the first time. How do they do this? So yes and no, and again, even in the battle scenes, there's nothing happening that makes you care about what happens. Who's winning, who's losing, and am I even slightly concerned about it? Nope. Is it remaking the cartoon? Yes, but no. That's the same, that's different, but why is it different? I don't know, and why is that the same? I'm not sure. Is this new? Is it old? What is it? It doesn't know what it wants to be. Chinese culture. Well, yes, they've taken kind of the Chinese culture and overlaid it, but really, if you think about the cartoon, it was an Americanized cartoon, and really all they've done is they've taken that same thing and they've just kind of overlaid it again. There's nothing really uniquely even Chinese about this, which I was looking forward to something. Hey, teach me about China. Let me learn about ancient China. And there's nothing here that does that. It pretends to, but not really. It doesn't give any depth to it. A love story. No, although there's that hint, but, well, no, that's not really a hint. And, well, okay, maybe it is, but I don't know. Are they trying to show something? Yeah. Oh, and then there's the one major new character that's there, but I don't know why. I do not joke with this. Within 5 minutes of this character being on screen, every single person who watched it with me, my daughter on the first time we watched it, and then my son and his girlfriend, all three of them in the first 5 minutes went, this character's going to do that, this is what's going to happen to them, that's how it's going to happen, and they were dead on right. And the even sadder thing is 15 minutes after this character states what their motivation is, what they're going to do, they then directly contradict themselves and say they're not going to do that. And you're going, what? So wait, the what you kind of made yourself out to be, you're not? And so you don't even know what you are, or why you are, or what you're doing. And then you completely predicted a predictable trope. It was kind of sad. My daughter talks about this thing called a Bechdel test, which basically is the purpose of the character, and it fails miserably. Here.
Bechdel test is testing whether a female character is a strong character, and it means that two female characters have to have a 15-minute or 3-paragraph conversation with each other that doesn't relate to either boys or what it means to be a woman. And this character, every single conversation is what it's like being a woman. So she doesn't pass.
Fail. Kind of sad. Could have been a great character. Could have been an amazing character, and nothing. And this is really what kills the whole movie, is it doesn't know what it is. It doesn't know what it wants to be. It can't figure it out. It didn't set out to say, we're going to be this epic Chinese war film. It isn't, we're going to be this story about this young woman coming to maturity. It isn't, we're going to show Chinese culture and how this woman grows through it. It's not any of those. It sort of hints at them a little bit, but it doesn't ever become any one of them. It doesn't ever become anything. It just is. And because it can't dedicate itself to any one thing, it turns out to be a big nothing. And that's the saddest of all. There's so much potential in this. So much they could do, and they didn't do any of it. What they did, they didn't do well. There's nothing memorable. It shows in the story, in the plot elements, the actors not knowing what to do. I mean, this is sad. So much of the dialogue, the actors actually look and sound like they're reading off their script being held right off camera. They're just saying the lines. Okay, I'm going to go and I'm going to protect you and we will fight together. And it's said about like that the whole way, and there's nothing there. And like I said, you end up with nothing memorable at all. I could sit there and I could tell you parts of the movie simply because I was trying to remember to make notes to remember parts of the movie. But if I wasn't paying attention, I would sit there and go, I don't know. Don't know. Watched it twice. The first time I was eh. The second time, with some movies, it's better, and it wasn't. What could have been, what should have been the most epic Disney remake of all may actually turn out to be one of the worst. If we were to score it on a scale of 1 to 10, I think we all kind of agreed it fit in the 3 or 4 range. My son wanted to give it the benefit of the doubt in a 5, but he then kind of went, yeah, but there were these issues that were more like a 2, so I'd give it... So I think we all kind of agree that it averaged out to about a 4. On a scale of 1 to 10, that's really kind of sad. So there's Mulan. Is it worth paying the $30 for? I'd be honest, I'd save your money. It comes out free for everybody on Disney Plus in early December. If you really want to see it, wait till it's included with your Disney Plus subscription. Don't spend the extra $30. Hold on to your money. And then watch it the one time, and if you're like me, if I never see it again, that's okay. Most other remakes, I'll watch Beauty and the Beast again. I'll watch Aladdin again. Okay, Lion King and Lady and the Tramp, I've seen it. That was okay. So there you go. I'd love to hear what you think. Share it in the comments below. Do you agree with me? Do you disagree with me? I'd love to know your feelings and feedback, so don't hesitate to share it. Thank you so much, too, for liking the video. Share the video. If you know somebody who's thinking about spending the money, save them the money and share the video instead. Thank you so much, too, for checking the description. So much stuff there. And to my financial supporters, it was actually one of them that paid the $30 for me to see this, and I'm very grateful for it. I just wish it had been a better deal for the money. So thank you so much for watching, and God bless. If you'd like to know about my merchandise, contact information, fan pages, and more, be sure to check the description below. If you want to make sure you don't miss any of my videos, hit that button right there to subscribe. And if you want to see another one, well, I've got a great video for you right here. If you'd like to be like these wonderful people here too and support me financially on Patreon or YouTube, well, hit that little button right there. It'll even give you behind the scenes access and more perks. Thank you so incredibly much for watching, and God bless.